Welcome, everyone, to the Sacred Ground podcast. I want to thank you for joining me. Today is amazing just because we have a very special guest joining us here at Sacred Ground. We have Sparrow. And for y'all that don't know about her, she is actually part of the Wellbriety movement. And it's an excellent curriculum that is culturally sensitive, that targets healing to the Native American people, and it's just so awesome. Right now at Sacred Ground, what we have going on is a White Bison training called Mending Broken Hearts. And a little on that is it's actually targeting intergenerational trauma and how to address it and how we can heal from that. And it's amazing because there's actually quite a bit of people here. I would definitely say over 20 that have come from all different parts of communities, all different tribes, and it's just such a blessing to be able to have basically all nations here taking this curriculum so that way they can go back and heal their communities. I know that is very impactful and just powerful to see. And, again, joining me right now is Sparrow. So, Sparrow, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sparrow. Good day. I am really honored and happy to be here. I am Salagi and Wyandotte. Those are my family. That's my family that I come from. I live out in Southern California, out in Morongo Valley, though, and it's just really an honor to be out here in Mesa and working with these relatives, and really in gratitude that there are 22 participants taking this training. And the beautiful thing is that this training is being taken so that the people that are here, like you said, that come from all over, are going to take this back home and implement this in the community. So definitely. Right. And as Kendall stated, this is Mending Broken Hearts, and the curriculum's aim is at identifying historical and intergenerational trauma and how it affects us in our lives today.
I think it was day 1 or day 2, because I'm new. I guess I would identify as what they call an urban native. Mm-hmm. So it was just amazing to see how intergenerational trauma really trickles down from generations before me and before us. And it's just like, wow, did you always know that, or was it until you took the Wellbriety that you kind of picked up on that?
Yeah. So I didn't know that all along. I had believed because of things that occurred in my life, and I didn't know it was a result of historical trauma. I didn't put that piece together until later on. Thank goodness I got that gift of that knowledge. But I had believed certain things about myself due to the experiences that I had. One of the things I shared was that my biological father just didn't connect with me. He would not participate in my life very much at all until I was about 12, and then it was very scattered. And I was on a mission. I was on a mission to get that man to tell me he loved me, because doggone it, I wanted to feel like he did.
As everyone does.
But he wouldn't say it. And so I interpreted that. I went really deep inside with that, thinking that, my gosh, I must be really unlovable.
Yes.
I must be really unlovable if that can't happen. And so he wasn't able to ever say that to me. I felt like, there was this relationship where he was always putting me down for my spiritual beliefs, my parenting way, the way I looked, the way I dressed.
Yeah.
Everything I did.
That's definitely got to be difficult to grow up like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one thing that I did find out about you, because, during this Mending Broken Hearts training, there's a lot of sensitive topics that will be addressed. And, Sparrow has been so brave and courageous to be able to be so transparent and vulnerable with everyone that's here today, expressing things in her life. But the one thing that she is talking about, I applaud you on that, because you addressed it and you are able to go through it. And, to me, that's just truly amazing.
Thank you. I'm a person in recovery. I have been able to not pick up a drink for over 30 years.
Amen.
Thank you. And but again, going back to your question about not knowing about it ahead of time, I was facilitating a talking circle in San Diego, and I was approached by a couple gentlemen many, many years ago. I'm not sure if it was 2006 when this book came out, but they came to the circle with a dolly and a box of books as a giveaway.
Really?
And the book was called The Red Road to Wellbriety in the Native American Way.
Oh, that is amazing.
Right? So I started reading it, and I remember my heart feeling just excited because I knew it was intense. I could feel it. And when I started to read it, I was able to put those missing pieces together. I was able to get the piece of the historical trauma and how boarding schools, how that affected my personal life because of my grandfather going to boarding school.
Yeah.
And so I was able to learn that my father's inability to show affection and to tell me that he loved me wasn't because I was unlovable, what I believed, because he couldn't give away what he didn't have. He didn't get that. And we tend to parent the way we're parented, so he didn't give that to me. And so, years went by, and finally before he went to Spirit World, we came together and had some conversations, and he did tell me that one time, and it was a beautiful thing to hear, even though I didn't have to hear it anymore because I knew why he couldn't do it.
That is just, hearing that is just so impactful, because it's like, along with this curriculum, you were able to identify, factors like you had mentioned as to why he wasn't able to express his love for you, and which is what you were longing for. But by the time that he was actually able to do so, you already had that understanding. And that's one thing that I believe is the power of understanding is, once we are able to understand something, we're not afraid of it, or we're not in fear. Like, it can't affect us negatively because we have that understanding. And, that's what I love about this curriculum. This is my first curriculum that I'm taking, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of it. Awesome. How long have you been teaching?
So I've been training for White Bison for about 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the Wellbriety Training Institute was kind of born about that time. White Bison has been around for 30 years.
Okay.
30-something years, actually. Came about in 88. Based on a man's vision. That's Don Coyes, who's the founder of White Bison. And, the man was a NASA engineer. He's
really?
A brilliant man, yes.
That's amazing.
But he knew that something needed to be done in Indian country for healing. And so he dedicated and continues to dedicate his life to continue forward with the visions. And they just keep coming, and he keeps going forward and pressing forward, and so that we can heal our communities. And we are. Amen
to that. And, me also being in recovery, I am employed and also a part of Sacred Ground. And that is something I do believe, because, we've had a young lady that, came in, and, she's actually like a success story, because, she's doing all of her goals, or all of her goals are becoming reality for her. We actually went back to the Hopi reservation. She saw her family for the first time in months. They were just so proud and so happy. Like, that joy was just like, wow. Like, she just brought hope back home to the Hopi reservation. And on top of that, we took like over 1,200 pounds of food. So, to me, that was a perfect example of being able to heal an individual, to heal a family, to heal a community. Oof. And, that is just so awesome. And for me, I definitely have to say that I didn't know programs like this were made available or existed. And again, I would be identified as an urban native. So just to see how many people are here, and again, I had to reiterate this, all nations basically here learning this curriculum with the same drive and passion to take it back home and heal their community. That is just so beautiful.
Yes, it is. We know that, in Indian country, we've suffered for a long time and wasn't always able to articulate or put a voice behind what really happened. A lot of even our own people don't know the true history because it's not taught in the schools.
Yes.
And so when we really are able to see and have that understanding, these things we've been looking at, this is hard to look at. It hurts. But we know that if we don't get in there and heal those wounds, of even generations before us, be that voice of our ancestors that didn't have that voice, heal ourselves, be able to identify the things we experience as a result of our relatives before us experience.
Yes.
How that's handed down through behaviors, through epigenetics. We take that and we heal. And what's beautiful is that, our healing today, and everyone here that's going to go home and do this, we talk about the healing forest model. They're going to go back to the forest, their homes.
Yes.
They're going to heal the anger, shame, guilt, and fear that's layered in the soil of their people. And then those trees growing out of that soil, which are the community members, they can start to heal as well.
Definitely. And again, that is just so impactful. And you had mentioned you've been doing this for 10 years.
10 years.
How do you feel at the end of the day? Like, I can only imagine. It's like, tell me, how do you feel at the end of the day?
So there's of course a part that is like, phew, because there's so much emotion, but it's beautiful.
Yes.
But really, at the end of the day, how I feel is I feel so blessed and honored that Creator has allowed me to do this work, because what I see is I see healing.
Amen.
Yeah.
That is truly something. And tell me a little bit, tell our listeners where they can get more information about White Bison.
Yes. So our website is www.whitebison.org. When you click on that website, you can go various places. You can look at the Wellbriety Training Institute and look at all the various curriculums that we offer. And Mending Broken Hearts is just one of them. Medicine Wheel and 12 Steps for Men and Women was the original one. And then various ones that you can bring to your community too. You can call over there and talk to the beautiful women that we have working in the office there and find out how you can bring those trainings to your community. Also, there's our story there. There's photos and bios of our trainers. We have a Koya's Publishing where you get all your publications, including not only the Red Road to Wellbriety book, but many other books that Dawn and others have written.
Yes.
We have a store, where we have Wellbriety clothing and jewelry. And beautiful thing is that the sales of the Wellbriety jewelry and clothing, the proceeds go to our Women in Prison giveaway, so that we're able to take this to the women in prison.
That is amazing. And, I got to commend y'all, because y'all are seriously just giving back. And it's like, back to the communities, back to, through sales of jewelry and T-shirts. Oh, my God, that is so amazing. All right. Well, I just want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Sacred Ground podcast. Again, definitely subscribe to the podcast to stay updated on all the latest episodes. Visit sacredgroundmesa.com for all the latest news as far as events and all that good stuff. Stay blessed. Again, joining me, we had Sparrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. And I'm just really excited with what you're going to do with this curriculum in healing the community. So thank you.
Amen. Thank you. All right, everyone at home that's listening, God bless. Stay blessed. God is amazing always.